FSD has been working since 2005 to promote financial inclusion in Kenya. Kenya has made huge financial strides during this time. Over 75% of the population have access to a formal account, even if it's just a mobile money account. But are formal financial services really delivering value to low-income Kenyans?
My business partner and I went to the bank and we asked the manager if he could give us a loan, and then he asked us how much we needed at the time. The manager asked us if we have exhausted all our other options, if we've asked family, if we've asked friends before, because he was he wouldn't advise because of the interest rates and everything. So he was now if we don't get anywhere else, now we can go back and he can see if we can get. Okay, it was a bit disappointing because I thought we bank with you guys, probably you'd give us a good rate or something, considering you can see how our account has been growing. After the first experience, it was a bit discouraging, so I'd rather I feel like I should just look for other options before I consider them as an option. So far I haven't gotten any loan from a bank.
Despite these achievements, our research shows that the relevance of these financial services in the everyday lives of Kenyans is minimal. So why is it that Kenyans just are not using banks?
Well, I think that's a really good question, because although we've seen the numbers of people having bank accounts go up, what we know is that they don't use them so much.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it's about the fact that when you put your money in the bank, it's not being put into this enabling you to build friendships, to build relationships. People would love to have a relationship with the bank, but then they find that it's really hard to get a loan from the bank.
Right.
And if they do get it, then they find it really hard to manage it, because maybe they've had some crises and the bank won't really listen to them when they need to change
It's not as flexible.
Yeah, and therefore that puts them in more of a problem than when they started.
What happened now, we had to go back and now ask our family members for money. So now I was lucky enough, my mom assisted, also my dad gave me some money. Luckily it was interest free, so I'd pay them slowly. Yes.
Unajua sina kazi ingine, kazi ile nafanya ni yangu ya mechanic. Saa hii nikifanya kazi hapa, tuseme nimepata 1,500 naweza kwenda ni save kwa hiyo chama yangu, hiyo inaitwa best rock sako. Juu na hao watu huwa wanapitianga hapa wakicollect hizo pesa, badala uende huko bank ufunge line huko na Kenya unaenda kufungia line unapeleka 500. Sasa nikaona hiyo chama yangu wewe inafanya mzuri, na kila siku wakipitia hapa, tuseme hata niko na 200, niko na 100, nawapatia na wanachukua, na hiyo pesa wanaenda wanaweka, na hiyo pesa ni yangu. Hiyo best roko sako, ukiwaitisha tuseme loan, unataka loan, wanakupatia tu, hawakuangi na process mingi.
There are two really important realities to understand about low-income people's lives, and one is that their incomes are really, really small. So whenever they need to spend money for one thing, it means trading off with another. So the incomes are really tiny. And we also saw that they're really volatile. So from month to month, income goes up or down by about 50%. So that's very difficult to plan around. And we also saw that people were very rarely just putting money aside in a savings account or under the mattress even in large sums, because they needed every shilling to be working. It couldn't just be sitting there. To just leave it sitting there would be wasteful. So they needed that money constantly working for them, whether that was in a savings group, where when it wasn't with them, it was with a neighbor who was making an investment, There were lots of different ways that they wanted that money to be active at the same time as it was being saved.
Hii familia yangu mimi utegemea hii biashara ya nyama, ndio wasaidia nayo. Mbuzi natoa sokoni, naenda sokoni, nanunua mbuzi, nakuja nazo, napeleka kichinjioni, naenda kuchinja. Nikichinja nakuja nauza. Mbuzi anaweza kama ni wa 3,000, anatoka kama 4,000. Sasa zile pesa nikipata nikichinja wale mbuzi wakiisha, zile pesa narudisha tena sokoni. Zile faida ile napata napeleka kwa chama. Capital ya kazi narudisha tena kazini. Kwa kucirculate namna hiyo inaenda ikizaana faida ambayo naiona. Ndio kwa banki ni sawa, sikatai. Lakini hii naiona nafanya kazi na immediately.
People have sort of two competing priorities that come out of that. One is stretching their budget to make it work when income is low or something comes up that they weren't expecting. And the other one is growing their incomes so that they're investing in a better future, whether that's in an actual income earning activity like a small business, or whether it's investing in school fees or buying a piece of land. And when you have such a small amount of money to use in terms of savings, you have to be really creative about balancing those two priorities of stretching the budget and growing your income. We found that people were using lots of different financial devices at the same time to try to make those two priorities work together. So they might be taking credit at the shop, borrowing formally and informally, belonging to a number of savings groups. We found like more than 10 in a household that were happening simultaneously.
Mimi ni fundi. Sana huwa nashona na mapato yangu ndio ninajisaidia nayo kutoka hapa kwa kibanda yangu. Huwa ninaingia kwa vikundi vya kina mama. Ninatoa tu kidogo kidogo. Baadaye nikipata huwa natoa karo ya shule, nanunua chakula, mavazi, najisaidia. Sasa si unaona vile nikiweka kwa vikundi vya kina mama, za zingine watu napeleka bank. Alafu sikikuja yani kwa nyingi tunakuja tunagawanya.
Chama niko na 2. Ya kwanza natoa 200 kila siku. Na inanisaidia mimi kulipa nyumba ama kulipa school fees. Hiyo ya pili nachukua, naangalia biashara venye inaendelea, nachukua doko napeleka bank.
Which of these services do you value the most? The bank or the chama?
Chama. Ndo napata pesa haraka haraka. Ndo napata pesa kama pesa ni mingi.
When I did research, I found that Kenyans value financial services not just for what they can get in economic terms, but as we said, also for them to fulfill other well-being goals and well-being values. And actually, respondents and people I talked to say that they can have a lot of motivation in terms of saving in the bank and also in terms of planning for their expenses. But at the same time, it's very difficult for them to build relationships through the bank. So while the banks can give them a sense of social status, it's very difficult for them to actually build a sense of identity and belonging, because through a bank account they can't really develop relationships and social networks. And at the same time also, banks don't seem to operate on those modes of development that are typically in communities, so the mutual development and mutual support, because it's not clear when people put their funds into banks whether they can actually get these funds to work for their community through, for instance, loans.
Uplifting a friend means you cannot just focus on yourself. For example, sometimes a member of the chama may not have any money and she may not want the whole community to know she is struggling. The chama can help by supporting her so that people don't know what she is going through. That's how we run things.
we agree not to expose each other's challenges to people outside the channel. We can't do that for people who aren't members of the group, but if they are members, then we are able to assist. So by sheltering one another like this, we cover each other's nakedness in times of need.
Tawaambia waingie waungane, waanze vikundi, watoe pesa, wakiunganisha pamoja wapate kitu ili waanze kazi.
And I think Mshwari is really interesting in the way it's come up, because of course it has got a bank behind it, but it's got a very different identity.
Yeah.
And what people are seeing with Mshwari is that they can take loans, they can learn about it, but they're seeing that the Mshwari is trusting them with their money. And I think there's a perception in banks that the bank doesn't trust people
trust the client
with its money. You have to trust the bank with your money before it will trust you with its money. And Mshwari is slightly doing that the other way around. And that's partly why it's very popular. So it's building a relationship which people start to value, because they want to be able to build that relationship and able to develop in the long term. They want a relationship which is around finance that can take them into the future.
Watoto wamesoma, niko na kijana amemaliza, niko na msichana pia, kijana amemaliza college na ameanza kujisaidia mwenyewe. Niko na msichana amemaliza last year, pia amemaliza form 4. Na pia niko na mwingine mdogo. Naendelea na mimi na babangu.
If formal financial providers want to develop solutions that work for people, they need to come out and talk to people. There is a lot to learn.